It's YouTube Wednesday! Okay, in about 4 hours, I'm getting on an airplane to head to National Haunters Convention, but I wanted to knock this out first. Painting a sugar skull mask tonight, and here you can see me blacking out the teeth and the nose. I'm going to go ahead and dry brush those later. I'm also hitting the inside rim of the eye. It's been based out in, of course, latex-based paint, so it retains some flexibility. And what I'm using to do this fine line decoration on it, because I am pretty much shite with a brush, I am using Sharpie paint markers, oil-based. The oil-based paint markers will bond with the latex paint because they have a propellant in them that will eat away the latex a bit and really help make them bond. I'm doing a simple pattern, sugar skull pattern. Nothing specific. I'm just kind of adding patterns and designs until it looks finished. Around the eyes, you'll notice I hit those a bit with black. It's that inside edge of the eye I want to retain a bit of darkness, a bit of blackness to it. And when you're doing sugar skulls or anything that's design heavy like this, even Celtic knotwork, what you're really doing is you're studying the negative space. And while you're looking at the negative space, you're coming up with a little repetitive design in order to repeat that. And you might think that you need a super steady hand for all these intricate details. That's really not true, because there's so much going on and it's so busy. The person viewing it, their eye will never catch on one thing. Their eye is going to bounce all around and be pulled in different directions. So, don't be afraid to just jump into it. You can see I'm putting dots around the eye, and that's a good starting point for framing the eye. And I'm not measuring, I'm just going. It's, it might hurt the flow a little bit if you measured, and it might not work out quite right, but if you just go with it, when you get down to that last dot, kind of space that in the middle of the first one. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. In this whole video, you get great shots of the back of my head, because I'm a whiz with a camera. And basically, I'm putting in the dots, and then I put a scallop in between the dots, and that didn't quite look full enough. So I'm adding almost like a little crow's foot design or a little line-only fleur-de-lis in between every scallop. That's what this is. It's looking at negative space and filling it in a creative way. The repetitious pattern is very sugar skull. It's one of the design elements that they use a lot. It doesn't matter even what the pattern is. So this is sped up about 4 times. Doing all of the paint on the mask took me about almost an hour, 45 to 50 minutes. And here you can see how the black in between the teeth really make them pop. And having the teeth pop is going to help sell this as a skull, because you're taking away a bit of the blackness of the eyes by doing all the decoration. I did this web pattern on the side, and it looks very plain compared to the eyes. So now I'm just making S's, and inside of every S's loop, I'm putting a dot. And then inside the web, I'm adding just another layer of marker. And these are the Sharpie oil-based paint markers. I think a 6-pack is about $12. Well worth it, because they last a long time. And there's just a little design on the chin underneath. And this is just filling that negative space. Now that around the nose is dry, I can accentuate that a little bit. There's a ton of Day of the Dead art online. And sugar skulls, for some reason, are super hot right now. So, if you're on Pinterest, I'm on Pinterest, and you're interested in the sugar skulls, start a sugar skull gallery, and you'll get tons of design ideas. They are all over right now. They're exploding like zombies. And it's just looking at what you have, adding detail, and filling in your negative space. I don't want to completely fill it in, but I want to break up all those large fields of white. And right now I'm putting a border on. If I didn't have the border, their eye could kind of fall off the edge of the mask, and I don't want their eye to fall off the edge of the mask. I want to keep their eye bouncing around inside of that pattern. And there you can see I did a squiggly line first, and then on every rise, I'm just putting another little hooked line, and that makes it look like a vine. It's a super simple pattern, and because the mask is so busy, no one is going to look at that and say, oh, he skipped a curlicue or made it go the other way. There's just too much going on. And now I see the big space of the zygotal arch, and that had no decoration on it, so I'm filling in that negative space. I like the field in between the eye and the mouth. Here, my friend Dan, the mask paint job is done. He's cutting up foam. The person wearing this mask happens to be allergic to latex, so he is cutting up foam padding and gluing it in. We're just using hot glue. Because this mask isn't a full over-the-head mask, if it was a full over-the-head mask, the latex stretches more than the hot glue does, and it wouldn't hold. But this is a half mask, so it's not going to have to flex that much. So the hot glue will hold just fine. And we're using hot glue, cutting up little pieces of pad, and gluing it inside the mask. This whole process probably took about 15 minutes or so to finish. And an elastic band was on between the pad and mask. I want to thank you guys for watching, and come see me at NHC.